Okay, let's have a look and see. Does this work? I don't know how many are watching at this point. Why is it disconnecting now? I don't understand why it's saying poor connection. Why is life so complicated, everyone? Swipe left. I'm trying to swipe left. Left is not working. Can everyone see this? Can everyone hear me? My phone keeps saying there is as well. So I'm not sure what's happening at this point. I can't even see any comments. This is fun. I think this is the most difficult, I don't know, the most confusing thing that's happened so far for me. Can you hear me? You can see this? I mean, does it come up with you as it's disconnecting? Because for me, my phone keeps saying a poor signal, disconnected. So, oh, good. You can hear me. You can see the pic of the tab. If it disconnects, I'm not sure what we are supposed to do, to be honest. I'll just continue, and I'm hoping it will keep recording, to be honest. I don't know how Facebook Live works. So we'll just have to see, but definitely my phone keeps saying that it's disconnecting. Let's see, never mind. It is what it is, right? Can't fix everything in life. So I've got a terrible cold. So if I sound a bit blah, I'm just letting you know why I'm sounding a bit blah. And it's really weird. I mean, how does one pick up a cold, to be honest? When did I last go out? I went out on Monday to do some grocery shopping. And that was it. That's the last time I stepped, literally. And it's Saturday, so 6 days on, and I've got a cold. And you think, how does one pick up a cold when you haven't been outside the house? How is it even possible? But there you go. Obviously, it is possible. And it has happened. See. So sorry about the sniffling. Yeah, but I can't fix it. Sorry. So what are we doing today? Waffling, yes, definitely. But in between the waffling, hopefully I will demo some stuff. A little bit here and there. We are using one of the Josie's grid plates, which I just love Josie's grid plates. They just make grid work, lace work so much easier. You know, life is so much better with these grid plates, you know, especially if you really like the look of lace work and don't want to do all the counting. I mean, I love traditional grid work. I get complete. But, you know, there are days where you just want to sit, take it easy, but put a little bit of lace in the work, but just don't want to do the counting. So these grids are absolutely, you know, amazing. And there's so many plates, Josie's grid plates, and each one is so different. Each one is beautiful. And it's really worth having a look at if you have not seen them before. I know every time Josie's plates come, they're usually a sellout. So I also know a lot of you have a lot of grid plates. I'm using, I can't remember, is it Buckingham? I'm using Buckingham, but you don't have to use that one. If you have any of her plates, any of them will. So pick any of the grid plates, and that's absolutely fine. The other plate I'm using is Linda's 1 to 3 plate. Now Linda's plates, as once again you all know, every time they're on the craft store, absolute sellouts. They're absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, dainty designs. I mean, who doesn't love Linda's plates? That, oh, I think everyone should have all the plates. If only life was that easy, right? Though, but yeah, I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3 plate. I'm using a very small element from it, you know, the dainty flower from there. But again, there is a lot of the 1, 2, 3 plates, and they were introduced to help you with embossing technique. You know, when you first starting parchment, they're very good. You know, you start with the larger elements on the 1, 2, 3 plate and work your way down to smaller as your confidence level builds. There's the A4 plates, and then there is the A5 plates. So, you know, once again, have a look. Of course, if you don't have the 1, 2, 3 plate, you can use any plate as I have, you know, for this sort of element here. The plate I'm using is Josie's sampler plates, which has grid in straight grid patterns and diagonal grid patterns, which are again very beautiful. And I just felt, you know, I wanted to put something in the background here just because, well, just because, why not, I guess. That's the only reason. Just because, really. But they're really pretty, and they really add a little bit of that extra in backgrounds and things. So, you know, once again, have a look at that. And okay, let's start. So which tag am I using? I'm using the second largest here, and you can see my tag. I put it into the machine a little bit the wrong way around early. But it still cuts, it's still fine, but I'm using the second largest of the tag to do this. Let me put that back in, and I'm going to move that out of the way because I don't need it quite right now. And so I've cut it out. I've cut the tag out of some cardstock and also parchment. Yes, the same size. So that will go there. Isn't that a pretty color? I mean, I bet all of you are really surprised I'm using pink, aren't you? You're really, really surprised I'm using pink. But at least so I did it in yellows and oranges. Now, when I cut out the tag, I had the window left. That was the window here that was left on the cardstock, and it would have been a shame to waste that. So I've used the window to put another piece at the back. And once again, it's Josie's Buckingham. Buckingham, is it? Am I sure it's Buckingham? I keep saying that. Yes, it is. To do, you know, to just put lace at the top and a sticker across. And, you know, I think that's really pretty. But it seemed a waste to throw that little window that was left over. So at least it's been turned into something, right? Now, what I'm going to start with is here, and you know, on this, I have got a little bit of grid at the bottom here, and I quite the look of straight along the top there, and that lace edge at the bottom. I really like that, and also, you know, using the plate, I was able to weave. I've actually weaved just designer paper, a strip of leftover. You know, we always have so much leftover paper. So I just cut a strip and weaved. I was going to say something, but I've forgotten. I can't remember. We'll get to it. I'm sure I'll remember eventually. If not, I probably was not meant to say it. Okay. So what first we need is we need our plate mint, and the Buckingham grid is actually an A5 plate. A lot of Josie's plates are so, you know, there's loads of designs. I'm using the A5 one for this, and we are going to start with the embossing. And you will notice that on the plate, I probably have the camera really low, which is probably a bad idea because I don't know if my tool, yeah, my tool is not going to stand up. Okay, bear with me. I'm just going to lift this. It's going to go all wibbly wobbly, but I need to lift it slightly off because otherwise my tool is going to hit the top of the phone. Is that better? Just about. A bit more. Sorry guys, life is so hard. No, it's not. Okay, that's better. So you will notice on the grids themselves, so where there is the embossing dots, yes, we can feel, you can hear the, isn't that a lovely sound? And it will say emboss this side up. So you need to have your grid this side up when you're embossing. When you're perforating, perforate this side up, which you need to be able to read the right way around. So then you would turn it over. I'm going to start with the embossing first. And what I always tend to do whenever I'm doing any grid work, even if the grid is fitting really snugly in there, I always tend to stick the, just put a Groovi tab to hold the plate and the thing together so it doesn't move at all while we are working on it. Now decide whether you want your tag going this way. This one I have the tag going this way. So this time I will have my tag going this way. That's a lot of this ways. Yeah, I'm going to have it going this way. So then I need to make sure the base of my lace is at the bottom here. So I'm going to turn it round and I am going to, I want a full slot somewhere. I know I want a full slot for my weaving. So I'm going to line up. Let me move my sleeve out of the way. So let me show you. I want definitely a full slot about there, as close as I can to the roundy around there. And I am going to line up on the straight here, the base of the tag. There, no, I'm not. I'm going to actually make my life easy and I'm going to move it along here. Because you know what? Life is a bit too complicated not to make it easy. I'm going to line it up along there. Yeah, but the straight still along the edge. Sorry, my head is really all over the... And I'm going to make it just simple for myself today because, like I said, it's not worth the aggro. Groovi tabs. So I'm going to stick one here. And if you don't have Groovi tabs, you can use any low tack tape. Okay, tumble dry sheet. Now, what I didn't do on the tag is, you can see I've only used part of the tag up to where the slots are. Yes, these slots. So I haven't embossed anything above there. Embossed this part of the tag. The reason being, I wanted enough space to put majority of the design from Linda's plate. Depending on what plate you're using for your design work, you may want to use the whole design, the whole of this lace design if you wish. On the card itself, I will show you what it looks like. So that's what the full design looks like, the slots and the squares. Yes, and on this I've just used the slots. So depending on what design you're using, you're going to have to decide whether you want to use the whole thing or just a fraction of. Okay, so starting with the embossing, so I'm using a 1.5 Pergamano tool. If you're using your Groovi tools, then use use the something. What's it called? Just use the something. Number two, Groovi number 2. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to emboss only up to where the slots are so that I don't get carried away. Let me turn this round so it's facing me this way because I prefer working towards me. I'm going to mark along there first and then do the rest. You can see the embossing there is this side up, so I know my plate is the right way around. And I'm going to mark my embossed dots up to the point I want it to go. So I'm going to do all these first, and then I'll turn it around. You know what? It keeps saying disconnected, and I'm not sure why it keeps saying disconnected. Is it cutting out? I don't know. Is it cutting out for you guys? I can't read comments either somehow. Da-da-da. No, no one said I don't have backing up, but I can use. We had our second, jabs. Okay. Disconnecting. I mean, as if life isn't confusing enough, it keeps saying that to me just to confuse me even more. I mean, like, really? Does it really need to do that to me? So you can see I've marked my dots along there. Yes. To basically show me where I am going to emboss up to, because I don't want anything above there. All right, now I'm going to come back and quite happily emboss the rest. Now, isn't that nice and easily doable without all the, what's it called? All the counting process. So definitely a massive thank you to Josie for making our lives so much easier and in such a beautiful way. So definitely a good thing, right? So I'm just pressing into the plate, and there's something really therapeutic about doing this. Grid work is usually, well, not usually, all the time, is always so much easier to be done, to do over the light wave. I'm not using the light wave because I found last time when we did something with the grid, it was so much easier for everyone to see what I was doing with something black dark underneath my plate. So I'm not using it for this. I think my camera just has too much glare or something, because I'm just using my phone camera. And I found when I was like watching back, it was definitely easier to see on the black. But at home, if you're you know, doing this along with me, then to use. So who is working alongside? I mean, with different plates probably. Normally, actually, what I do is whenever I hold on, I'm lost. I had the page up on my iPad, and now I've lost the page on my iPad. And this is like so much fun, like not knowing what I'm going to click next. And yeah, I really shouldn't touch anything once I have something set up. Oh dear, that's good fun. If nothing else, at least it keeps me on my toes, right? Yeah, I was asking, so who else is working alongside with different plates and things? Okay, I'm coming to the edge. I'm going to use the smaller window just so that, you know, I'm holding the paper down with it, so it's not lifting too much as I emboss. I love the Groovi guard. I like the way it just holds everything down. Okay, so I've done mine there. And you can see there is a little bit of space here. Now it's up to you whether you want to leave that, fill it in. For me, that definitely feels a bit empty, and I would like to, you know, just add a little bit on the side there, just so it doesn't feel like I've forgotten something. If I turn it round and show you on there, can you see up here? I think it feels a bit, it needs something. Although it's going to be cut, I would go back and add just a bit more there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line it up, and you will actually feel it sit nicely and slot into there. And I don't need to stick it down because it's just a few dots and it slot in really nicely. There you go. So to me, that feels a bit more complete. Now, what we would do is, you know, once you've done the embossing, you can turn it around and perforate. I'm not going to perforate it first. I'm going to do the rest of my design first and do the perforating afterwards. The reason being that if I perforate and then go back to do the rest of the design, what it usually ends up doing is it keeps rubbing against the back of my palm here, and I find that very irritating. So I'm going to leave the perforating and do it at the end. Only because that's my preference. Of course, if you want, you can definitely first. As to, you know, when you're first starting, would you like to emboss first? Would you want to perforate first? For me personally, I feel it is your own personal choice as to which one you go for. You know, I've always preferred perforating first. So more often than not, whether I'm doing these plates or, you know, traditional grid work, anything, I always preferred perforating first. You know, it's just the way my head functions. But whichever one you choose, you know, instead of doing the whole thing, especially if you're doing squares, rectangles, and you're not sure about the sizing, don't put everything in all in one go. Just do the, you know, markers. So you've not wasted all that time doing everything and then realize it doesn't match up or something. You know, you've just done the markers. So it's a really good idea to, you know, just do the a few marker dots just to help you get the sizing right. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do the perforating later. So I'm going to put the embossing in of the rest of the plate first and the coloring. And what you want is your design plate. So this is Linda's 1, 2, 3 plate. And as you can see, basically 1, 2, 3. Small element and it goes on to bigger. I mean, this is the way you would work. So if you're just starting off learning embossing, learning coloring, for example, you know, start off with something larger and work your way down to smaller. You know, for embossing, personally, I would prefer practicing on something small and then working the other way. So for coloring, you know, what works for me is starting with a large image, and then as my confidence grows, I go to smaller, because then your painting strokes get smaller. But for embossing, I prefer to work smaller because of the layers we need with embossing, for example, and letting it rest. My patience level usually is 0. On most days, it's pretty much 0. So, you know, I tend to work small, and then want to do more, I'll work bigger. So pick any of your design plates. I have chosen this one here for my original, and I'm going to see actually if I can get, I might go with this one this time, or shall I do because I'm only coloring it in basically. I'm not doing anything else. That's quite cute. I might do the bumblebee, although I'm pretty petrified of bumblebees, but I'll do a bumblebee. Now, decide what end of your tag you want. Don't forget, this is the base of your tag. Decide you want your image on this side. I definitely want my image, you know, on this side. So that's near the edge of the thingamajig. You know, I'm saying I'm going to color the bumblebee. I'm going to do the bumblebee. Do I know what one looks like at the moment? Do I? Do I know what a bumblebee looks like at the moment with my head? No, do you know what? I don't know what a bumblebee looks like at the moment. That's too much hard work for my teeny tiny brain today. Sorry. I'm not going to do the bumblebee. I've changed my mind. How about this flower? I like that flower. Should I go with one? Like, oops, have I moved it away? I just want part of it. So I'm just trying to see. I quite like this because then I can get some of that grid in there, or go with the bigger cornflower. Oh no, it's on this side. Or this one, which is really pretty as well. Oh, why is life so difficult? Decisions. This one. I'm going to get like almost the full one here and a little bit there. Do you know what I forgot to do? I have forgotten to... I'm going to bring in the grid plate again. I want a straight edge. Sorry. I want this row of dots. It was the right way up. I want the row of dots along here just to give me a straight edging. If I show you on the tag itself, so here you go. Can you see this row of dots along there to give me the edging? So I'm going to move it there. You can leave a bigger gap like this if you wish, but I don't want to leave such a big gap. I'm going to move it about there, and you will feel those the dots that were already embossed sort of slot in, she says, fiddling. Sorry, bear with me. Oh, come on. There you go. I took the... And is it sitting in there? Yep, it's sitting in there nicely. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to emboss that row of dots. Where's my Groovi guard? And just to make sure it's nice and straight before I start. So sorry. There you go. I just think it gives it a nice edge. It separates the lace from the design nicely by having a straight. You could just do a straight embossed line if you wish. That is fine as well. If you don't want to do any more dots. I'm going to stick with the dots. And I'm going to have to move it because obviously, you know, as you can see, it doesn't go edge to edge. So I'm going to take that, and there is a few I can get at the top there. And move it down to do this. Oopsie daisy, don't move, please. So there we go. One more there. Yeah. Okay. So now going back to the design, because now I've got a nice lovely straight edge. I am going to position it in place. I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the top and on the side and stick that down. Now I'm inside the petals freehand embossing. I'm not going to do any of that on the inside. So I'm going to use my Pergamano 1, or you can use your Groovi. You can use your Groovi 1. However, if you want to emboss inside the petals, then you need to emboss with your Pergamano 1.5 or give you a nice soft outline. So I'm going to emboss the circle. So I'm using the number 1. up to where the dots are. There we go. Right, now let's turn it around. And then I'm going to emboss these up to where the dots are. A teeny tiny bit of a leaf there, poking through the stem this way, the stem that way. Although I could have left that stem. Too late. Oopsie daisy. So what I'll do is that what I generally do is, not what I will do, what I generally do is that, you know, once this live finishes, I do tend to upload it on YouTube as well, because I know some of you prefer to watch it on YouTube rather than on Facebook. So I'll put the link up as soon as I get the video processed and sorted. I'm not sure if, depending on how I'm feeling later, I don't know if it will be today. You know, it's just been one of those horrible, horrible weeks where definitely did cooperated. I don't know how do you pronounce that properly. It's too big a word. I probably shouldn't have tried using it. Just thinking about it is giving me a brain ache. But these are so cute to do. Look, how cute do they look? They're so sweet. This is definitely like, you know, total therapy, relaxation, just because the design. So even if you don't do anything else with the, you know, using parchment techniques, even if you just emboss out the lines and color it in, that's just like, well, happy therapy. Especially when you have beautiful designs by Josie and Linda. What more does one need in life, right? Yeah, chocolate to go with it, definitely. Cake, yep. Maybe just about £1 billion would be good. Not a lot, just £1 billion. I'm not greedy like that. Some popcorn would be nice to go with it. Mind you, all the things I'm saying, like, probably make the work a bit messy, right? So I'm trying really hard to stay off the chocolate and the cake. So I've told everyone they cannot give me chocolate. They cannot buy me chocolate. They cannot send me any chocolate, because it's definitely triggering migraines for me. So, you know, it's a definite no. Do not do it, because the temptation is too big then. So there's my design. So yesterday my sister from work, when she came back from work, she said, oh, I bought you something. And there I was thinking, oh, how exciting, skirt or a dress or something. And she said, here's a chocolate. And I'm thinking, no. And yes, temptation was too great. And guess what? I did end up eating it. Didn't I? Okay. So that's what I'm also going to do while I'm at it is I am going to put dots along the around the circle area, like here. Yeah, the dots there. And for that, I am going to go back to the grid plate. I have this grid. It can be any grid that has a few straight lines on it. So when you're going around a circle, so what you start with is, so here's my first, hopefully you can all see that, first dot there. So I'm going to line it up. No, I'm not going to line it up there. I'm going to line it up here. Although, you know, these would work as well, but because I've used the embossed dots, I'm going to stick with the embossed dots. So I'm going to, number 2, I'm going to line it, I'm going to put it on one of the dots there, and I'm going to use my each dot as a, what's it called, swivelly thing. Yes, so there's my first one. So I'm going to do one dot there. Now I can get another one in and another one in, and then I'm going to turn that. Can you see I'm turning it ever so slightly, and I'm following the curve of the circle to emboss dots around the semicircle I have. Now you can use this method to put dots around any of your embossed designs, really, to put an edging around it just by swiveling it about. I mean, you know, it's not like we don't have enough dots on this tag, so if you wanted to leave it out, that is absolutely fine. I more dots, why not? Okay, so I'm going to bring it back up to the top, and you can see, you can take it off, that's fine. Put your tool on the last one, line it up with one of the dots on your grid, and continue. Turning it ever so slightly each time as you go around. Have all of you done this before? Or is it something new for some of you? I mean, it's quite addictive, doing this. I love putting dots around, and I just think it just looks so cute. And I'm coming to the base. I'm trying to keep it sort of in the center-ish. I should really learn to figure out where the camera on the phone actually is to help me keep the whole work in the middle rather than on the side or off screen. And I'm almost there. Now I've got a space there, but that's okay. I can always, there's a bigger space there, but that's okay because I'm going to put sequins and my sequins can go there. So I'm not going to stress over that. And that is what we have. The dots around. So that's fun. It's good. It's really good fun. And like I said, it can be really addictive. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of design inside. So on this tag itself, I have used this one here from Josie's sampler plate, and this is the design I've used. This is the one that that is like corresponds to the diagonal plates, the designs on here. And then the other plate was this one, which corresponds to the square, to the straight. Sorry, straight grid. It's turned into melted chocolate, and there's huge waves crashing against the inside of my teeny tiny skull, but there's plenty of chocolate in there, melted chocolate. So I'm going to stick, you can use either. If you have only one, just pick any design, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to stick to the diagonal one because that is what I mentioned when I set up the event, that, and pick any design. So I picked this one for the original tag, and I think for this one I'm gonna go with this one because I think it's cute. I don't want something very heavy that will detract from the flower, from the main design itself. I want something light. So this is definitely one I am not going to pick because I think it will compete with our flowers. And really, we want the flowers and the lace work to really pop. So I think for this one, I'll use this one here. That's really dainty. And I like the fact that this reminds me of daisies, these little flowers. So I'm going to use that. Now, there will be a space here, which is going to be empty for the moment because you can see the whole thing doesn't fit in that. What I'll do is I will move it so it does, so I can get a few more dots on the edge there. So I'm just going to stick that down. Make sure your groove side up, and to emboss the dots I'm using the 1.5. You can use Groovi number 2. Emboss a few of the, well, all of these, not a few. So all the space in there, just to add a little bit of something. You don't have to. It looks really pretty on its own as well. I just, yeah, again, I just felt like adding more. Oopsie daisy, missed completely. So now I need to see where, so I can get one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. When you get near your design, obviously you may not be able to get the full design, so just decide which dots you want to add in. Try and avoid going on any of your previously so one here and that one there. And that's it. So I'm going to take that off, and I've got a little bit of space there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get anything, but I will definitely see if it in. And the sun is out. So I'm hoping you can see this. This was another reason why light wave doesn't work for me when I'm doing these, because the sun comes shining through. And once again, I haven't got round to sorting that out for me. I must do that. There you go. And that is what we have. It's been raining for the last 3 days. Rain, rain, rain. And then today, when I decide to do, when I'm supposed to be doing this, guess what happens? The sun comes out. Of course the sun comes out. Okay, let's put a black card to, just going to put the black card like this thing. How about, does that help? If I just position it there, does that help a little bit? I don't know. Does that help? The black card may fall off, but we'll see. We'll see. Now the sun's gone. Now that I've done that, the sun is gone. I'll keep it there though nearby, so if I need to use it. Okay, coloring next. Sorry, I should have checked when I asked who is doing it and whether I need to slow down or not. I've checked. Who's watching? Who's watching? Oh, so many people are watching. No pressure. Do I need to slow down, guys? Do I need to slow down? Do you need a couple of minutes? Couple of minutes, or should I just continue and you can watch on ketchup or something? Oh, saying ketchup reminds me of fries and ketchup. Sorry, random conversation happening in my head. Where did I put my coloring stuff? So to color, So to color, I'm going to use Perga colors as well as Pergaliner B pencils. Now felt pens, and the pergaliners we blend with oil. So you know, one doesn't mess up the other, so they can both be used on your project. So we're going to use them both because I quite like the vibrancy of the felt pens on the flowers, and then something a little bit more subtle in the background, which the pergaliners will do, and the felt pens will bring in the vibrancy. So depending on the backing card you're using, I'm going to start with the felt pens first. And because my backing card is pink, it's pink, I'm going to use and yeah, do I want purple as well? Do I want two colors? No, I don't want two colors. Let's not complicate things, Tina. Keep it simple. So I'm going to color. Oh, I need something for my leaves. So I want, well, mind you, I've only got a teeny tiny leaf there. I want a bit of green. And the head of the cornflower, I'm not sure what color it usually, flower colors and stuff. So I'm just going to go with whatever I want to color it, basically. So I'm going to do my flower center yellow. So we turn it round. Now, when I do use, when I do color, I do like to definitely have the light wave. And I'm going to pray the sun doesn't come out while I have the light wave on, because what it helps us do is it helps us go right up to the edge, and that's what I want to do with this. So hopefully the sun will stay away just for a little while longer. I'm going to start with this flower center, and I'm using the felt pen. This one is number 1. Yeah, Perga color 1, and I'm using the thin end, but if you prefer, you can use the thicker end. It's just I have got used to the thin end, so I always, you know, tend to use that even if it's a large area. For some strange reason, it just works for me. But like I said, use the thicker end if you prefer. And I'm just there we go. There's my flower center, and then the other one. And while we need to then allow, I mean, the Perga color exclusives do dry pretty quickly, so put quite a bit of yellow down there. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit longer, and I'll do a bit of coloring around the tag when we get to it. Okay, and then the flowers, I am going to do pink. This one is number 5. And I just love coloring. Becoming a child all over again. Forget your stresses and everything. Pick up a felt pen and just color. So, isn't this a pretty pink? You know, it's a shame when during these lives that it's only comments and no one can, well, no one can hear anyone. Obviously, you can hear me. Otherwise, this would be a bit pointless. It's a shame, guys, because it would be so nice while we're doing this to actually have a proper chat, like talk to one another. And I know I'm really bad at reading comments while I'm demonstrating. I can't keep up with doing both things at the same time. I'm completely envious of people who can, you know, read comments straight, look back up, read comments. Seriously, it's definitely a skill. This is why, you know, I do my teaching over Zoom, because it just, I can hear, yeah, I do put everyone on mute, but they can take themselves off mute if they wish. But if at any point, if they get stuck with anything, you know, it's so easy to just ask the question there and then. At the moment, I'm sort of just hoping no one has any serious issues or needs to ask a question as to, you know, something that might not be working that I've just shown. So I have no idea if you guys are okay with all this. I forgot to mention, didn't I? We're coloring on the back. I'm so sorry for anyone who might have colored on the front. That's so bad. I am so sorry. I usually do all my coloring on the back. Usually, you know, I do on the front. For example, when doing gems or the fluffy birds are colored both from the front and the back. And then there are times where you do want to color your flowers from the front rather than from the back, because the colors are always so much more vibrant on the front, aren't they? It's definitely on the back. Well, for me, it's on the back anyway. Is that a petal or is that not a petal? I don't know. Where's my plate? Is that a petal or not a petal? Can't decide. I think it's a petal. Oh well, now it is. Okay. And my teeny tiny, pretty much non-existent leaf. Oh, sorry about the sniffling, guys. As well, because I think it needs a bit more green. So there we go. Okay, so that's all the felt pens. Next, you are going to need your pergoliner bee pencils, oil, a sponge, your blending nibs, and what else? Let's get my colors. So while I get my colors, I know I want it to be a little bit of pink, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of green. Right. I still haven't got around to ordering my pencils. It's so nice that, you know, you get them available in as individual pencils, and I still haven't got around to ordering them. Okay, so the colors I'm using are, my yellow is 8, my pink is B14, and the green I'm using is B7. And I'm going to put a drop of, well, I was going to put a drop of dorso oil on my sponge, but my dorso oil is not in my pot. So what did I do with my dorso oil? Oh, it's in here. I put it. Okay, so just a drop onto the sponge. There we go. And so I'm going to get some nibs out. I tend to have one nib per color. So I've got my yellow one, my pink one, and my green one. Okay. And the sun is out. so I am not going to be using the light wave, otherwise you're not going to see anything. I'm going to switch it off. Lovely sun. So decide where you want your colors on this. Now I'm not going to color the whole circle there. I'm going to leave some area white. I'm just going to color the section around around the flower and a little bit around the leaf there as just to add a bit of softness around it. You can color the whole thing if you wish. I just think it's nice. Parchment paper is so beautiful that sometimes it's really nice to leave the paper. So I'm going to put a bit of green. Now green and pink together is going to make it go brown. So I'm going to try and avoid putting those two colors right next to one another. So where I have got my green, I've just put yellow there, and I'm going to put a little bit of yellow around my flower center here, but I might bring in some pink as well. I'm not trying to replicate the flower center. We'll make it have a nice orangey hue. So I don't mind the yellow and the pink mixing. My pink is about to break. Please don't break. Just hang on a little bit longer, because I have no idea where I've put my sharpener. So I'm gonna, it's gonna break, it's gonna break, it's gonna break. Okay, I think that, and you know, when we blend this, look at my poor pencil. That's so sad, isn't it? Oh, bye-bye pencil. Well, I'm not going to be having any more pink then, am I? Let's have some more yellow. No, I am going to have a bit more pink. I want it, isn't it? I mean, how sad is this? I need to find my pencil sharpener. Oh. Things haven't gone very well today, have they? Never mind, you know what? I can't be asked. Life's too short. I will look for a sharpener. I am going to start with the lightest. No, I'm not. I mean, generally when we start blending, it's always a good idea to start blending with the lightest color. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my green first, because my yellow and my pink, I want to almost blend together in places to get a nice sort of orangey color between the two. So what I'm doing is I'm just touching it onto the oil, the nib, and when I'm blending, I am doing little round circular movement where the green is. And I'm going to change my nib to the yellow one. And once again, I'm going to just start working from the yellow. So I'm going to do the yellow along there. And where the two colors meet, I am going to blend them together. So there isn't like a definite line between the yellow and the green. It all blends nicely together. Now I've got a little bit of green on there, and I know when I go into the pink here, what's going to happen is it's going to turn brown, and I don't want it turning brown. I mean, it's fine, it's not going to matter, but if you do get colors, it's got a bit of green, you can clean your nibs. So I'm going to touch a little bit on there, and I'm going to rub off the extra on some scrap piece of paper. Yes, to get it nice and clean again, just to get that green off. But then I still have a little bit of yellow to do here, and I have a bit of yellow here. And now this is going into the paper, so I don't want to stop. I want to blend it, so I don't want it to stop anywhere just suddenly. So just blending it in into nothing. Or the other thing you can use is, you know, you can use a bit of cotton bud to just fade that into the paper, fade it away into the paper, so you don't have a solid line. And now I'm going to do the pink. So touch it onto your oil and blend that. So little round circular movement, and into the yellow as well a little bit. And can you see there's a definite line there? Yeah. And I want to get some of that oil, and you can see the brown coming off, not the brown, the orange coming off. And I'm going to go back and blend these two together to get rid of that heavy line. And then I'm going to finish embossing the rest of the design. So here, as I'm going into the paper, if I think it's gone far enough, I can get my cotton bud and just blend it into the paper a little bit. Let's make some orange over there. And I'm going to just blend it over there where those two meet. I wanted nice softness. I really don't want anything heavy. Because this is just the background, so I really don't want too much color and too much, you know, straightness and all that. Straightness and all that, if that makes sense. And you can see where the yellow and the pink meet, it makes nice orange. And bring that. I don't want it to go too far, so there we go. Just blend those two together. I think I want a little bit of pink. I've lost my pink here. This is so sad. This is real. Does anyone do things like that? I mean, it would just have been so much easier to look for my pencil sharpener than trying to work with a broken lead. So I'm just going to bring it into the paper a bit more in case. There we go. And you've got some nice softness, I hope. We'll only know that once we put it on the backing sheet. So if I bring my backing sheet, let's have a look. So if I turn it around, there we go. Oops, that's the wrong way around. This way around. Yeah, there we go. Needs a little bit more blending there. I don't know. So if you think it needs a bit more blending, you can just get a bit of oil on your cotton bud and oops, now I've taken it all off. I got too much oil. Don't get too much oil like I did. But the lovely thing about the pencils is, you know, even if you get it all off, and this is actually a way you can get it all off. If you don't like the color, there you go. That's how you would take the color off. But now I've got enough oil on there. I don't need to put any more oil. This will hopefully, oh, it does need more oil. And there we go. Whenever I'm doing backgrounds, to be honest, I'm always like putting a bit, then I think it needs blending. I then blend it, and then I think, oh gosh, it's not blended enough. So I put some oil, and then it all comes off. Then I put a bit more. But you know what? It's okay. It is okay. That's the really nice thing about working with these pencils, is that you have an opportunity to do that. And you know, you at the same time, you're learning lots by doing that. You're learning you need on your nib, how much oil it's going to, how much oil you need to blend it. But if you don't want to blend it so much, then you need less oil. So, you know, it's all a learning curve. And like I said, whenever I'm doing backgrounds, I'm always going back and forth. I do take it off, I put it back on, I take it off, I put it back on. Okay, so there we go. And you know what? I am going to have to sharpen that because I want my... should I make my edging pink, or should I make it... No, do you know what? I'm not going to make it pink. I'm going to make my edging yellow and green. Yes, because I think that will look pretty. Because my backing paper is pink, I think it would be really nice to make it yellow and green. So I'm going to put a bit of yellow in places like this. And I'm not going to go into the lace work. Just there. So just the top part of the tag, and I'm using my pencil on its side so I don't get any sharp lines. So decide use and just put a little bit of color on the edge, or you know, a comfortable position for my wrist. And now I'm going to blend that. So I'm going to start with my yellow. And there we go. So I'm going to start from there. So again, I'm bringing it into the paper, into the nothingness of the paper, and then I'm going to take my cotton bud and sort of blend that in. And so I'm going to do all the yellow bit first, actually. And then blend that. And doing the edging is a lot quicker because you're just like, well, you're not following the design, you're just nothingness. This could be my new favorite word, nothingness. Okay, and then the green. Am I making sense? What I'm trying to say about the blending thingamajig? And then blending the two colors together as I am going along. Whoopsie daisy, don't want it to fold over. So I don't want it to just suddenly stop. I want it to be nice and soft on the middle. And if you don't have a cotton bud, you can use a piece of tissue or kitchen towel, kitchen roll, anything, you know, just to soften it if you want. I mean, you know, you may be absolutely fine softening it just on its own. I want a bit more green. It's very light over here, so I'm going to put a bit more pencil. And you can see, you know, the pencil is if you're just starting off with coloring cues, it's very user-friendly, the pencils and the blending and everything. Because, you know, if you take it off, you can put it back on. If you don't like it, you can take everything off. Okay, I'm spending a bit longer than I thought I would doing this. I have no idea what the time is. The green is very light. Maybe a darker green would have been better. But no, I don't want a darker green because I do want the softness of this green. I think a darker green would have been too overpowering. I don't know. I don't know. Is my sleeve in the way? There was a point where I avoided coloring backgrounds and things, you know, because I would always get worked up over blending nicely and things. And then eventually it was a case of, do you know what? I don't know why I'm so scared, because I can always add more. I can always take it all off. So it's just play, you know. And to put this back on here, there we go. That's quite pretty. I think it needs some green here. Can you see there? Oops, it's off screen. Of course you can't see that. There you go. It needs some green here. So I'm just going to go back. And where did it need the green? There. And I'm going to add a bit more green. So, you know, always have a look at your work over your backing paper, because it looks very different over a backing paper than it does when you're just coloring. Don't know if that made any difference, but there you go. It's a very light green. I'm not going to fiddle with it because I don't know how we're doing for time, and I know that we still have the lace work to do. So what we're left with basically is on here, if I show you, so this is the current one. So we've done the thing along the edge here. On this one I didn't color at the top here, but on this one I have colored at above that line there, just to give a proper separation between the lace part and the design. Same, you know, you can't see it actually with the backing paper, but I did color along there, but you just can't see it because of the backing paper. So now we're ready to do the something. We definitely are ready to do something. Trust me, we are. The perforations for the grid. So you need your grid plate. You need your grid plate. Now, because I am not using the lightweight, I'm going to use, whoopsie daisy. Sorry, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Was that too loud? Oh my gosh. Did anyone fall off their chairs? I'm so sorry. Because I'm not using the light wave, I'm going to use the super foam and the pico foam and put my plate on there so I can see where I'm going to perforate. And I don't know about you guys if that rattled your brain, but it definitely rattled my brain. So do you know what I'm going to do for just a couple of minutes? I'm going to just stop for the moment, and I'm going to read a few comments. Chat amongst yourselves if you like, but of course as soon as you guys chat amongst yourselves, I can see it. But I need to definitely stop for 2 minutes, if that's okay. I'm happy to read a few comments. Let me grab a tissue, like the 10th one, and yeah, have a drink. Oh, I normally have hot water, except my hot water's gone a bit cold. so it's no longer hot. But it's at least drinkable now. Okay, and I will wait for all of you to catch up a little bit. And oh, thank you, Bernie. I'm glad you're enjoying the tag. Thank you, Tina. I hope I feel better too. I hate colds and coughs because they're always the worst at night, aren't they? Oh, I'm still trying to figure out where I got it from. After not being out of the house, how does one catch a cold? It's ridiculous. And of course, with, the whole COVID situation, although cold is not one of the symptoms, right? There's at the back of our minds, I think we're all still, we get quite scared, don't we? That what if? But even then, at the back of our minds, it's what if? Is it hay fever? No, Carol. It's not hay fever. I do get hay fever. It's a definite cold. For hay fever, I take the tablets anyway. This definitely doesn't. If it is the hay fever tablet, didn't work today. But yeah, so I woke up this morning feeling absolutely blocked nose and, runny nose. I think even my nose can't decide whether it wants to be blocked or runny. But the first thought was, oh, what if? Oh my gosh, it's the fear we live in, and I'm pretty sure it probably adds to all our stresses in life. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's really silly. But anyway, I did the home test. Thankfully, it was negative. It was this sigh of relief. But at the same time, when you see it negative, you think, yes, but the home tests are only, 70% or something ridiculous like that. Not effective, 70% accurate. So then you're thinking, but what if I'm in the other 30%? It's silly. Somebody make me snap out of this. Yeah, I've taken an antihistamine. Nahid. You have to take it all year round? Wow. I take it during springtime. Summer, by middle of summer, I'm usually okay. Did I get my shots? Yes, I've had my vaccine shots. I got them earlier because of my health conditions. I'm on their vulnerable list, so I had them a while back. Well, my second one, actually, I only had it a couple of weeks ago, but still earlier for my age group than anyone else in my age group. So, yes, thankfully I've had that. Coughing and sneezing, I've had COVID. But yeah, my son, the panic I was in, because the worst thing is not knowing which way it will go. So that was hard. That was really hard. I don't think I slept for like 5 days. But they're better, they're fine, and yeah. Okay, let's start with this. I don't know, does anyone have the time? How are we doing for time? So my timer says we've been here 1 hour 18 minutes, so that is what? Is it 3:20-ish? Is it 3:20-ish? So we have got to do the lace. Okay, so now when we do the lace, like I'd mentioned at the beginning, we need to turn at its reading, perforate this side up. So I've done that, and the lovely sunshine is out. So now what we need to do is we need to line up so that the embossed dots, there. So these embossed dots are sitting between the perforation holes here. So So now we're going to do the perforating from the front. So you need your tag front side up, and my embossed dots are going to sit. Let me stick these two together first and grab a couple of tabs. So I'm going to line it up with the design, and you're not going to see it, are you, because of the sun? What did I do with my black card? Hold on. So I'm going to line it up like this. And so how far am I going to go? And where am I going to start with? I have to decide that first. I'm going to start from this end of the tags. So I'm going to line it up. Make sure it's straightish in the middle-ish. And stick it. Sorry about my sleeve, but for this bit it's definitely going to come in the way until I get it stuck down. So with the tag front side up, and there we go. I think let's have a quick look. Yeah, that's pretty close, I think. Yeah, that's pretty close. It's easier to line it up over the light wave, so definitely at home, if you have that, do use it. Okay, so I'm going to I'm not going to perforate over here, because what I'll do is, if I show you on here, you can see the top, so I don't really need to worry about it. So I'm going to skip that one. I guess I can do this hole at least, because I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that to bring the ribbon. Yes, but I don't need the rest. I mean, if you want, you can put it in. It's not really going to matter. Let's just put it in. Just make life easier, instead of, you know, making all of you wonder, shall I put it, shall I not? Let's just put it in. Okay. And these ones, now the lovely thing about the grid, these grids is that, you know, you cannot make the hole in the wrong place. It's only good, it's on the grid, and this makes the whole process so much easier and fail-proof. So holding your tool upright, and I'm using the bold 1 needle tool. The fine 1 needle tool will not, you know, it's fine. It doesn't give you like, I'll show you. I don't know. Fine 1 needle, and what it does is, can you see you're not going to get accurate enough. Some will go ziggy-zaggy and things. See, it's not, and it doesn't fit the hole perfectly. Basically, the bold 1 needle tool fits the hole perfectly, whereas there is too much gap left around the hole if you use the fine. Does that make sense? Hold on, let me put my glasses on. Where's my glasses gone? And the sun's gone again, which means I can remove that. It's like playing peekaboo with it. Turn my thing round, because I'm gonna work this way, because I think I would prefer working this way. I'm gonna work from the top here. I'll have to come back and do this bit because that's going into the corner of the design. So I'm going to leave this last one here and I will fill in that later, because can you see that's not the right design there because it's going into the corner. So I will do that last section after moving my parchment a little bit. Sorry, I was off screen, I think, there. I will do that bit later. And I can do this. So basically you're just perforating all the holes. Oh dear. I love the sound of that too. Isn't it strange, the weird sounds that I enjoy? Seriously, my kids don't understand how I can enjoy sounds like these. I think they probably have to understand parchment to be able to enjoy sounds like these. So, you know, take your time. I mean, with me, I'm definitely taking my... And how much more is left? Oh, a few more. Finished yours. You're probably waiting for me to finish. Oh dear. Almost there. I've run out of conversation now, haven't I? I've run out of waffling. Oh no. That's a disaster. I never thought I could run out of waffling, but I have. It's to get ideas as to what I can waffle about. And the sun is out. But that's okay because I finished that bit, I think. I just need to debate. Just make sure, you know, before you take yours off as well, always make sure that you have got everything there. I mean, there's always occasion where we still need to, even though we double check, we still need to go back and, you know, because there's one hole that we missed. I mean, that always happens to me, especially when when I get around to cutting, pick one that is missing. Now, when you line it up, you know, the holes pretty much a bit like Velcro. just seem to slot in. So just this little bit here. So there we go. Well, not quite there we go, but there we go. You know what I mean. Shall I put these? She asks while putting it. I think that's it. Okay. Right. So let's move this out of the way. I don't need that. And this is what we have. I am going to wait for my iPad to catch up with what I'm demonstrating, because there is a lag in the timing from what I'm demonstrating to what I'm seeing on the screen. And I'm just going to see if the sun is affecting what you can see. No, that's okay. The sun's fine. I just didn't know if I should put the black. Okay, lid back onto the tool. Now we're going to do the cutting. So I'm going to use my scissors. I'm using the exclusives. Well, I am using it if I can find it. That's so funny. Right, bear with me. It is under a pile. It is under the pile of. Oh, it's on this side. I'm looking, and it's on the opposite side. Okay. Now on this one you will see there is diagonals, and I think it was in the last tag we did. Did we do some diagonal cutting in that one? I think it was the last one or the one before where we had some diagonal cutting. And you know, like on the slots here for it, we have that diagonal happening over there. So whenever there is a diagonal, I tend to do the diagonal first, because you know the space between diagonal holes like these with the bowl grid, the space is a lot wider than on the straights like over here. So I'm going to do the insides first, starting with the diagonal. Our scissors need to be over the waist. Now the waist for our slot is this section here. That's the waist. That's the bit that's going to fall off. Don't mark yours. I'm just marking mine to show you what bit's going to fall off. What is the waist? Okay. I'm pretty sure my cold's like kind of feeling a bit worse than when I first started. I probably sound horrible. Okay, so starting with the diagonal. So this is the waist, as I explained. So all these slots, the waist is going to be the middle bit. So holding the scissors over the waist, putting just the tips into the holes, just the tips, and you can either twist your wrist or not. That is absolutely up to you. When I don't tend to twist, I just like, I cut it very gently. I do little cuts. So on this one here, so I'm going to do all the ones that go, no, I won't. I'll show you one first, and then I'll do all the holes that go in one direction. So you turn it round, and this one here. So what I do is I cut a little bit. I release a little bit. So I'm cutting it very, very slowly, because that's what works for you. For some of you, it may work to cut it all in one go. Diagonals, very hard to cut. I do struggle with diagonals, and I'm sure a lot of you do as well. So that's why I like to take my time when I'm cutting the diagonals. So there we go. That's what falls out, and that's the hole we're left with. Okay, so now I'm going to work all the holes in the same direction at the same time, and use up my whole box of tissues at this rate. So I'm cut, and like I said, for me, when I'm doing diagonals, I don't tend to twist my wrist. For me, it definitely works better to do little cuts and relaxing my scissors between as I'm closing them. So you can see I'm doing all the ones in the same direction at the same time. And you know, if you're not sure of what your waist is, for done like I did with my this part, you can always mark the with a pencil, mark the bits that are going to fall out, so you'll know where to hold your scissors, and your scissors always goes over the waist. I'm hoping it's all okay. Is everyone doing okay with this? Okay, so that's my diagonals for my slots. Now I can go ahead and do all the straight edges. So once again, I'm going to work all the ones that go in the same direction at the same time. So like I mentioned, this one here, no, do you know what? I'm going to actually, am I not? No, yes, no, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not. Ignore me. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Shall I not? No, I will. Okay, I'm going to cut it. So all the ones that go in the same direction at the same time. Oopsie daisy. So just the tips into the holes. And some of you may up as you do your picot cutting. Some of you may prefer, you know, having it down like I have mine. You know, some of you may want to try, if you're new to picot cutting, you know, giving a slight twist as you cut, just ever so slightly, and always towards the previous cut. If you're going to twist your wrist, always towards the previous cut. And some of you may also, you know, want to drop your scissors. By that, what I mean is when you put the scissors in, you drop them a little bit and then cut. Put the scissors in, drop them a little bit, and then cut. So for some of you, that might work better. So there's lots of different ways to try out what may work for you. I'm holding my scissors with the curve up. I move down like this. So again, you know, how you hold your scissors is up to you, and have a play, have a practice, and find what suits you the most. There is no right or wrong way, to be honest, except the only thing you need to remember is to have the scissors over the waist. That's the most important rule when you're doing picot cutting. So that's all of them in this direction. Turning it round. and all the top ones. I'm hoping with the sun out you can still see this. In the last few weeks, I have done a lot of dots and holes. My workshop was grid work, but it was counted grid work, so we were counting. So I've done thousands and thousands of dots and holes. So you can see I've done my work once more, and I am cutting the last side of these slots. Let's get rid of these. Just put them on the side for the moment. You should see the state of my floor. It's got all the perforated bits. It's got so much glitter on the floor, which is the pretty part of my floor, is the glitter that's all over it. Eraser rubbings, which is not nice, definitely not nice. And, you know, okay, you vacuum, but as soon as you sit down to do something again, you know what I mean. I can't think of the word, but it's just, ugh. And so then I wonder, why did I bother vacuuming, right? Now this last one, we cut out the whole bit out because the paper I weave is just going to fit over the top, so it's not going to really matter. So I'm just going to cut it off there, and I'm going to cut it off, and then it's just going to basically sit over the top. Okay, now we're going to cut this edge here, along here, and all this is definitely going in a diagonal, so definitely need to go a little bit slower. Did I need a hole here? I don't know. Let's just do this. Am I off screen? So just the outside edges, just these. Actually, I should have probably shown you. So it's 2 one side and then 2 this side. Now the waist is this bit here. So if you wanted to follow it in a zigzag fashion, you can. So it's 2 this way. Oh, look, there's a hole missing. See, I told you, as soon as I come to picot cutting, there's always one hole that I have forgotten. I'm going to randomly put it there. I got lucky there, actually. That's pretty accurate. That doesn't usually happen, trust me. So you can do them all, the ones in the same direction at the same time, or you can zigzag it. So 2 this way, and then 2 this way, and then 2 this way, and then 2 this way. But as you can see, it's definitely going to be a lot easier to do all the ones. And someone decides to cut their grass. I mean, of course, they're allowed to. But why now? And then I'll come back and do the other side. I don't like doing diagonals. But they need to be done, and it is all practice after all. And you know, if there's a few that haven't quite worked out perfectly, it's okay. There is so much perforation on the cards we do and on this tag itself that no one is going to notice a few picos that haven't quite worked out. So, you know, just let it go. I'm going to chop it off there, and I'm going to come here, and how am I going to do this? There you go. So there's our ziggy-zaggy bit. Yes, so there's our ziggy-zaggy bit. You'll have to decide on yours where you're chopping off yours to get you this nice frilly edge along there. Wondering actually, do I want to go across here and bring, no, let it be, no one will notice. Stop fiddling. Okay, now we're going to weave a little bit of ribbon. You can use ribbon. I am using just a strip of designer paper, and what size did I use? For these slots, it's a 0.7 mm strip, or if you prefer in inches, it's 1/4 of an inch. That fits nicely into here. So first I was going to color my flower purple. The purple didn't happen. So now I have to decide what part of this strip I want. I think I'm still going to stick to purple and pink, to be honest, because I think that goes quite nicely on there. So I'm going to start with, so what I've done is, to help me with the weaving, I've just cut basically the end into a point. So just bring it into a point. It would just make life so much easier like this, yes, for the weaving process. And I'm going to move that, and I'm going to have my Groovi marked down because I want to work on this harder surface. And bring that there, bring this here. Okay, this one, like I said, I know my paper is going to sit over the top. Because this is going to sit over the top, my first slot is going to be that one, and you can see that's going to sit over the top there. Yes, so then turn it round, and let me bring it a bit like this into the next, oopsie daisy, into the next slot like this. Pull it through gently. Oopsie daisy, come on. So you're just going in, out of each of the slots. So into the next one, to the back. And up into the next one. So you're going to basically just weave it in and out. Pull it a bit. And you can also use ribbon, definitely. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to I prefer to weave on my lap. So that is what I'm going to do. While I'm weaving on my lap, I'll leave this on screen so that it's not looking like an empty screen, because there's nothing, it's not nice looking at an empty screen, is it? But I can't figure out where I put my card. Where's my card? Let's have a couple of things here so it's just not an empty screen. There you go. And I'm just going to finish weaving it in. Weave on my lap. I'm just better that way. So I'm still here, honest. I'm just... Otherwise I'll be being all fumbly at the top, and it'll take a lot longer to just weave something as simple as a piece of paper. I don't know if everyone has used a grid pattern that does have slots. Left would be, you know, putting it on, mounting it on something. And if you're using sequins, sticking the sequins down. I mean, I think everyone's got used to me putting sequins on absolutely everything, because, well, it just makes everything nice and pretty, and it's sparkly. So and on the original tag, I used 2 different sizes of sequins, and that looks really to do often, which I really must try and remember to do, because I really liked the look of the 2 sizes. I've got one big crease on one of the slots. At least with proper ribbon, you don't get creases. But with this, with paper, it's easy to get a crease. Okay. Rightio. So let's move this, bring the paper. There we go. So I don't know if you can see it. There's a crease just here, along here on the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tug on the strip so that crease goes underneath, just like that. So now we can't see the crease. Phew, that's good. Now to stick it on here, basically all I did was tape on the back and not directly on the parchment, because that would definitely show. If you don't have a strip like this for the grid pattern you have used, in the last tag we did, I did some stitching of a bead and sequins. You can do that. If you do use brads, just make sure that you cover the back with another piece of another cutout tag, so that, you know, the back of the brads get hidden. So just some red liner tape along there, and you know, like I said, I am aware that, you know, some of you haven't used the same grid. Okay, take that off. Not both, just the top layer will do me fine. And I will trim off the excess after I've stuck it down. Which way will be easier, this way or this way will be easier? So just, oopsie daisy, don't get stuck quite yet. No, this way will be better because I can hold it up while I just line up the hole and the top of the tag. So I'm lining up that and the hole before I let it go. Because with the red liner tape, once it's down, it is down. So I want to make sure I get the lining correct first before I let go like that. So there we go. Rub it in. And then, where's my scissors? Oh, really? What did I do with my scissors? Oh, they're over there. So I'm just going to trim off this excess along here. There's one bit. Let go. Oh, my straight bit, I'll use a straight scissors to trim off. There we go. And there's that. And now for, of course, the very much loved sequence box. And I know all of you look forward to seeing my sequence box and me doing this every single time. So here we go. I'm doing that just for you. I want though, hold on, I didn't decide on my color because I've got some blue here on this strip. I think it would be nice to bring in a little bit of blue on there. So I'm going to go with a kind of blue sequence for some strange reason. It sounds like a good idea. I don't know if it will be a good idea, but on the whole it sounds like a good idea. Let's go for a clearly bright blue. I don't know, bright blue or clear blue. I can't decide. Bright blue or clear blue? What do you think? I mean, you know, while I'm deciding, if you're fed up of me, you can't go because I can't decide. Somebody decide for me. I see no one wants to decide for me. Oh gosh, my nose. I think I'll go with the bright blue. Why not? We need some brightness, right? And it's the one I see easiest, she says. Can't find another one. Here we go. Clear blue very well. So I'm just going to go with the bright blue, basically. So I'm going to stick maybe one there, one there, one there, like this. Shall I not? Should I do that? That. I quite like that blue on a bit of the ribbon. Or there. Yeah, it will do. It will do. So when I stick, I use glue dots. These are the really tiny ones, 3 mm. I mean, if I sit here, you know, wondering which one I'm going to use for so long, for hours. And that wasn't the best place, was it? I should put it there. There will do. So there we go. There's the tag, and then I'm just going to slot in my ribbon, or this is just a few shades of raffia, and I should have had blue in there, shouldn't I? But never mind. I'm not going to be digging everything up. I'm just going to tie a knot at the top there. There we go. And there's our tag. So what we have is this one. And then where is the yellow one? Here's the yellow one. And then we have the card there where we use the full design, whereas on these we just used part of. So that's the tags done. I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing whatever you create. My next workshop, by the way, for anyone who might be interested, is doing, what are we doing? Remind me, guys. It's 19th June, I know that. Multi-needle tools. Yes, I'm doing multi-needle tools for my next Zoom workshop. Message, and I can send you more details. Basically, this is the card we will be creating using Pico V, 5 inner circle, 5 needle tool, and semicircle. So that's the card we will be creating using the multi-needle tools. And that's play. I was just playing with the needle tools. But once you learn how to use the tools, you would be able to create this anyway. So that's that. So message me if you're interested. And that's multi-needle tools, 19th June. I know some of you did look at, saw the little tweakling, which is him here. So there's the actual card. Yes, I think sometimes the camera doesn't pick up, you know, everything as nice in my life. And this was the other one I had created using the embroidery plates. So those were just fun pieces for myself, really. But I just wanted to show you them like original wise. Yeah. So there we go. All your creations. Do tag me, because sometimes I don't get around to seeing all the posts. If you tag me, I do eventually, if not straight away, eventually I do get around to looking at those posts. So do tag me, because I will find it eventually and, you know, have a look. Am I going to teach the bird? I am going to do a bird in August. That's going to be all the way in August. I haven't prepared it yet. This was just yesterday. I needed to do something, just something different, because my head was in a bad place. So I decided to just draw some, color some. It's Linda's technique to color the fluffy birds. It's just such a beautiful technique. And she's taught it quite a few times at various Clarity retreats and things. There is no way I can do justice to the way she colors her birds, but it's a process, and I really, you know, needed to do something different. So, yeah. What plates do we need for 19th? Margaret, message me and I can send you the details of what I've used. So just send me a message, please. Okay. Okay, I don't think there is anything else there that I need to sort of mention immediately, kind of thing. As soon as, well, as soon as I can, depending on how I'm feeling and how long processing and things take. And I hope everyone really enjoyed that. Sorry if I sounded really pretty yucky with my cold. With everyone on here, the next Facebook Live will be on the first Saturday of June. I don't know when that is, but it will be the first Saturday, or is it the second?